Dear students, good morning. Today we will be dealing with types of knowledge, which forms the next topic in my series of lectures about knowledge. Please refer to my other video lectures for the other topics in this unit. Types of knowledge. In order to build skills, it is important that we know about different types of knowledge that exist in education. Knowledge is an awareness or familiarity gained by experience of fact or situation. It can be theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. All our knowledge is founded on and is ultimately derived from experience. There are so much debate and disagreement over the exact list of different types of knowledge. So, no such list has ever existed. There is because the concept of knowledge is purely philosophical and everyone has a different opinion about what it is or what it is not. Different types of knowledge that are based on experience or the lack of it are. A priori knowledge. A priori knowledge is the knowledge existing in the mind, independent of observation or experience relating or to what may be known through an understanding of how certain things work rather than by observation or experience. The literal meaning of a priori is from before or from earlier. A priori is the knowledge that is attained independently of experience. It means there are certain assumptions that one can take for granted. This knowledge is non empirical. This type of knowledge comes from theoretical reasoning rather than actual observation or personal experience. In practical, a priori describes knowledge that exists without reference to any actual proof or reality. A posteriori knowledge. A posteriori literally mean from what comes later or from what comes after. It is the knowledge which is gained through experience. A posteriori knowledge depends on experimental evidence or warrant. This knowledge is empirical arrived at afterward. Truths of physics, chemistry, and biology are instances of a posteriori knowledge. A posteriori judgment adds to the knowledge, but the knowledge yielded can sometimes be uncertain or problematic. This kind of knowledge is gained by first having experience and then using logic and reflection to derive understanding from it. It is believed a priori knowledge is more reliable than a posteriori knowledge. In philosophy, term a posteriori is sometimes used interchangeably with empirical knowledge based on observation. Explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is similar to a priori knowledge in that it is more formal or perhaps more reliable. Explicit knowledge is knowledge that is recorded and communicated through mediums. It is our libraries and databases. The specifics of what is contained are less important than how it is contained. Anything from the sciences to the art can have elements that can be expressed in explicit knowledge. The defining features of explicit knowledge is that it can be easily and quickly transmitted from one individual to another or to another 10,000 or 10 billion. It also tends to be organized systematically. Tacit knowledge. Whereas explicit knowledge is very easy to communicate and transfer from one individual to another. Tacit knowledge is precisely the opposite. It is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to communicate tacit knowledge through any medium. For example, an expert musician cannot truly communicate their knowledge through facts. In other words, he cannot tell someone how to play the instrument, and the person will immediately possesses that knowledge. That knowledge must be acquired to a degree that goes far, far beyond theory. In this sense, tacit knowledge would most closely resemble a postury knowledge, as it can only be achieved through experience. The biggest difficult to tacit knowledge is knowing when it is useful and figuring out how to make it usable. Tacit knowledge can only be communicated through consistent and extensive relationship or contact. Usually, two forms of knowledge are born, as each person must fill in through skills, shortcuts, rhythms, etc. Propositional knowledge. Propositional knowledge, which is also known as descriptive or declarative knowledge, is knowledge that can literally be expressed in propositions, that is, declarative or indicative. Propositional knowledge is not so different from a priori and explicit knowledge. The key attribute knows that some things is true. Again, mathematical equations could be an example of propositional knowledge because it is knowledge of something as opposed to knowledge to how to do something. Propositional knowledge in turn may be of four kinds: logical, systematic, semantic, and empirical. Logical knowledge. In this type of knowledge, we examine relationships between statements and draw conclusions based on the laws of logic. We use this kind of knowledge in science, grammar, and mathematics. Example: metals are good conductors of electricity. Mercury is a metal, hence, mercury is a good conductor of electricity. Systematic knowledge. This kind of knowledge results from learning a system of words or symbols and examining how they relate to one another. For example, 21 plus 23 is equal to 44 is systematic knowledge because we understand something specific when we use the term 21, 23 and sign plus. Semantic knowledge. Knowledge that arises due to the knowledge of meaning of words possessed by a person is called as semantic knowledge. For example, if someone says unmarried boys are bachelors, we understand what we say, but at the same time we do not call a 4-year-old boy as a bachelor. This is because we have a definite understanding of the term marriage and we acknowledge that it does not refer to 4-year-old individuals. Thus, semantic knowledge is practical knowledge. Empirical knowledge. Empirical knowledge comes from our senses, observation, generation of hypothesis, testing, and confirmation of refutation of hypothesis results in empirical knowledge. John Locke, when referring to empirical knowledge, says all ideas come from sensation or reflection. Such knowledge can be tested both logically and through experimentation. It is used to describe and predict phenomena. It is communicated by qualitative and quantitative descriptions. Empirical hypotheses, empirical definitions, generalizations, and scientific laws. Some examples of empirical knowledge are Newton's laws of motion, Dalton's atomic theory, etc. Non-propositional knowledge. Non-propositional knowledge, which is better known as procedural knowledge, is knowledge that can be used and applied to something, such as a problem. Procedural knowledge differs from propositional knowledge because it is acquired by doing. Propositional knowledge is acquired by more conservative forms of learning. Procedural knowledge clearly differs from propositional knowledge. For example, it is possible to know all of the theory behind driving a car without actually knowing how to drive a car. One of the defining characteristics of procedural knowledge is that it can be claimed in a court of law. In other words, Companies that develop their own procedures or methods can protect them as intellectual property. They can then, of course, be sold, protected, leased, etc. Procedural knowledge has many advantages. Knowledge by hands-on experience is extremely valuable as it can be used to obtain employment. However, some people believe that this is a double-edged sword as the degree of experience required to become proficient limits us to relatively narrow field of variety. Now we will discuss some other types of knowledge. Situational knowledge. Situational knowledge is knowledge about situations as they appear typically in a particular domain. For example, a motorcycle rider knows that if the road is slippery, the motorcycle is likely to skid due to reduced friction between the road and tire. A teacher in the class knows that if he uses unfamiliar vocabulary, students will not understand the content. So, the teacher simplifies the content by using familiar vocabulary or by using the local language. In this case, the teacher is using situational knowledge. During problem solving, one shifts relevant and irrelevant information. This is also an application of situational knowledge. In short, situational knowledge is knowledge about the situation, its components, and the kind of relationship that exists in these components. Conceptual knowledge. Conceptual knowledge is static knowledge about facts, principles, and concepts related to a situation. This knowledge plays an important role in how we apply our knowledge. A teacher must have conceptual knowledge of the teaching learning process. He must know about classroom management strategies, evaluation techniques, learner psychology, etc. However, just this kind of conceptual knowledge is inadequate. To use conceptual knowledge effectively, it must be combined with situational knowledge. A doctor must have conceptual knowledge regarding medicines, diseases, and their symptoms, etc. At the same time, situational knowledge is also required to treat the patient. Strategic knowledge. Strategic knowledge is the knowledge whereby one decides the stages one need to follow to solve a problem. A strategy is a series of steps that need to be taken to reach a particular goal. Consider this case. A 5 standard student is unable to multiply two-digit numbers. The teacher finds that the child knows addition and multiplication tables but does not know about place values. The child makes mistakes when the product is a two-digit number and he has to carry over a digit. After identifying the problem, the teacher decides to first give the child practice in place values. Make the child understand that 14 means 110 and 4 ones. Thus, the teacher is using strategic knowledge to help the child learn to multiply two-digit numbers. Thank you. Have a nice day.